Sandshrews are pretty cool, and I wanted to make one, so I made one. This one just has two basic colors, which is just yellow and a light tan. Then I make an aluminum foil shell for the actual yellow base to go on to, because it's mostly yellow and I don't add the tan until later. Then I just smooth out that yellow ovular teardrop shape until it's all properly smooth. And then, after that, I just keep smoothing. Once this is all properly smoothed out, I can then break apart some yellow to make legs. These legs are just circles with little itty worms off the edge of them, and then they are placed on the sides of the Sandshrew. These then get blended into the rest of the body until they look properly good, and then, well, both of them get blended into the body until they look properly good, and then they just get shaped and poked and pressed and smushed and squished and stretched until they eventually look actually kind of okay. And once they look actually kind of okay, it's time for the next step in my process. And the next step in my process happens after I separate the bottom to make it look like it's not all attached to the stomach, blend it out a little bit more, and then after that I have to do more blending with the legs to make it look even better, squish out the feet, and now I make something else, which is the tail, which is just a big cone that gets attached to the ass. Yeah, gosh darn it, I swore. This gets blended into the rest of the body until it's all good and nice, and then I begin work on bulking out the bottom of the legs and blending it in, and then cutting out little nubs, little appendages at the bottom of those legs on that thing that is attached to the ankle. I actually don't do that, I add claws. And that's much later. Never mind. Then I bend the tail here to make it more accurate to the image that I was going off of. This just keeps getting blended, and then I make arms. The arms are just tubes that then get smushed onto the body and then blend in so that there's no gap, no seam, no nothing. Both of these get blended in, and after they get blended in, it's just made to look all good and nice and pristine. And then once that's done, I add the head, I think. I actually don't know. Yeah, the head. The head is just a ball that gets added to the body, blended into the body, and then squished down into the proper head shape. I begin by just making it so that there's no gaps around the neck area, and then once there's no gaps around the neck area, I can then finally squish down into the proper head shape that the Sandshrew has, and once it's in the proper shape, I can then add ears, which I believe are one of the last yellow details to get added to the Sandshrew. These yellow ears just get blent in until they are fully blent in, and then after they are fully blent in, I get a little tool to make it so that the front of the ears are indented. Yay! So here's where I do that, and I indent the front side of the ears to make the ears look more like ears and not like little spikes. After that, I just then begin squishing it out a little bit, and then add the stomach with the very light tan from earlier. This just gets added on the front stomach area, and then this just gets flattened until it is a good and proper shape that covers a good proper part of the body. After that, I get a thicker worm and place it on the bottom jaw of the Sandshrew in order to bulk out that area while still making it the proper color that it has to be. This was to make it more look closer to the proper size that it had to be. After I do that, I then just squish it out so that it's all good and perfect and proper and that all of the main shapes of the body are good until I add the toe claws and the hand claws. Gosh darn it, I said... No! I continue to add these lower leg claws And then I add the finger claws and a thumb claw, even though I don't think it has a thumb claw. But I did it anyways, because why not? After those are all added, I can then add the sand brick pattern, which takes so long to do. This was originally 11 minutes of pure uncut footage. That was the entire time it took me to make this pattern. Although it is still very simple and kind of relaxing to make, so it was a good time. I had a good time. I make the pattern on the arms, then shift over to the back. Then after the back is the legs, after the legs is the lower back onto the tail, and after the tail is the neck onto the head. That's just the order that I did it. You can do it in literally any order if you decide to do this project yourself for whatever reason. But it made sense to me. Once I get done with the tail texture, I of course then move over to... Actually, I shift the arms over first into the proper positions, but that's the order I did the pattern in, not the order that I did everything in. Now that the arms are in the proper position, I can then continue with the head pattern until adding the eyes, but I forgot to add the eyes. You'll see. Yeah. I forgot to add the eyes. It's just a black thing with a white dot in the center. I just make a green simple base and push it in there. Here you can see the eyes, but once it's baked, it's done and over.